Have you ever felt trapped, as if something invisible were holding you back? That something isn't always external. It's often within our own minds. Mental limitations are the barriers we build ourselves, often without even realizing it. They can be beliefs instilled in us as children, experiences that marked us, or simply ideas we've accepted as truths. Imagine a bird in a cage, but the cage is invisible. The bird could fly, but it doesn't because it believes it can't. That is the essence of mental limitations. Believing we're restricted when, in reality, we have the potential to free ourselves. Imagine standing in front of a closed door. You have the key in your pocket, but you don't know it. Instead of opening it, you resign yourself to staying where you are, thinking there's no way to cross. That's what mental limitations do to us. Often, we live confined by beliefs or ideas we never question, and those invisible barriers prevent us from achieving what we truly desire. Overcoming these limitations isn't just important, it's essential. Every time we identify a limitation, we gain clarity about what's holding us back. Imagine being able to move forward with your projects, relationships, or even your biggest dreams without the weight that drags you down. It's like taking off a backpack full of stones and finally being able to run freely. Daily life is full of moments when our mental limitations come into play. Avoiding opportunities because we think we're not good enough, not expressing our ideas for fear of rejection, or postponing important decisions because we feel unprepared. But what would happen if you decided those beliefs no longer had power over you? Overcoming these barriers not only allows you to move forward, but also transforms how you face each day. Every small step brings you closer to a version of yourself that is more authentic, freer, and more capable. It's a change you'll feel in everything: your confidence, your relationships, and how you see the world around you. Recognizing that these limitations exist is the first step. Overcoming them, on the other hand, is the bridge to a fuller life, filled with possibilities and fewer fears holding you back. The question is, are you ready to cross that bridge? Mental limitations are like invisible walls we build in our minds. They're not made of bricks or cement, but of thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions we've accumulated over time. They're the ideas that tell us you can't, you're not enough, or this isn't for you. And the curious thing is, even though they often have no real foundation, we accept them as absolute truths. But where do these limitations come from? Many stem from our past experiences. A failure, a criticism, or even a hurtful word from someone we cared about can plant the seed of doubt within us. Sometimes, they come from the environment we grew up in, societal expectations, or constant comparisons with others. There are also the beliefs we inherit. Phrases like, "That's just how life is," or "This isn't for people like us," become unwritten rules we follow without questioning. Over time, these ideas shape our perception of what's possible or impossible, creating boundaries that exist only in our minds. Identifying these causes isn't about finding someone to blame, but about understanding where these barriers come from so we can break them down. The truth is, mental limitations don't define who you are or what you can achieve. They're just stories you've told yourself, and like any story, you can always rewrite it. Not all limitations we face are the same. Some are born within us, while others come from the world around us. Understanding this difference can completely change how we approach the challenges in our lives. Self-imposed limitations are the ones we create ourselves. It's that internal voice that says, "I can't do it," "I'm not good enough," or "I'd better not even try." These barriers are built on fears, insecurities, or beliefs we've accepted as true. They're like shadows. They seem real, but when you shine a light on them, they disappear. On the other hand, external limitations come from the environment, societal expectations, cultural norms, or the opinions of people around us. For example, when someone tells you, "That's not for you," or "You should follow this path because it's safer." While these limitations may seem beyond our control, we often accept them without questioning, letting them define our decisions. The key difference between the two is that self-imposed limitations come from within our minds, while external ones reflect the circumstances or people around us. However, both have one thing in common: they only have power over us if we give it to them. When you take the time to reflect, you realize that while you can't always change external limitations, you can decide how to react to them. As for the self-imposed ones, the power is entirely in your hands. Every time you choose to question them, you weaken them. Recognizing this difference is crucial. While external limitations can be a challenge, self-imposed ones are the area where you truly have the power to grow and prove what you're capable of. In the end, it's not about how many barriers you face, but how you choose to overcome them. Every day presents a new opportunity to break the chains of limitations holding you back. The best part is, you don't need drastic changes to begin. Small, consistent practices can help you identify and release those mental barriers that have been holding you back. Start with reflection. Dedicate a few minutes each day to asking yourself, what held me back today? Was there something I wanted to do but didn't because of fear, doubt, or insecurity? Write it down. Putting it on paper not only helps you identify patterns, but also takes power away from those limitations by removing them from your mind. Incorporate gratitude. At the end of each day, list 3 things you did well or that you're grateful for about yourself. This trains your mind to focus on what you achieve instead of dwelling on what you think you can't do. It's like building a solid foundation for tackling any obstacle. Practice meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool, and you don't need to be an expert or dedicate hours to it. Spend just 5 minutes observing your thoughts without judgment. As you do this, you'll begin to recognize the limiting beliefs that operate like background noise in your life. Once you see them, you can decide whether to keep carrying them or let them go. Take action. Every day, do something small that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It might be speaking to someone new, sharing an idea you'd usually keep to yourself, or trying something different. Each time you take a step, you're challenging those self-imposed limitations and proving they're weaker than they seem. Surround yourself with positivity. Read books, listen to podcasts, or engage with people who inspire you. This shifts your perspective and reminds you that many of the limitations you perceive aren't as universal as you might think. Mental limitations don't disappear overnight, but with these daily practices, you'll start building a pathway to a freer mind. Every small step counts. By choosing to face your limits each day, you're telling the world and yourself that you're stronger than any barrier. Self-exploration is like shining a light into parts of your mind you didn't know existed. There are 3 powerful techniques for delving deeper: meditation, journaling, and visualization. Each has its own magic, and together, they can transform the way you see yourself and tackle your limitations. Meditation is not about emptying your mind, but observing it. Sit quietly in a calm place, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. With each inhale, ask yourself, what thoughts are holding me back? Don't judge them, just listen. You'd be surprised by what surfaces when you allow yourself to sit in silence. Meditation helps you identify thought patterns that usually go unnoticed but influence your decisions and reinforce mental barriers. Next is journaling. Take a notebook and start writing without filtering your thoughts. Questions like, what do I believe I can't do and why? Or what would I achieve if fear weren't holding me back? Can be eye-opening. Writing allows you to uncover beliefs you didn't know you had. When you read your own words, you become an observer of your mind, gaining clarity about which thoughts you want to change. Finally, there's visualization. Let your imagination guide you. Close your eyes and picture a day when those limitations no longer exist. How do you act? What decisions do you make? How does it feel to live without those barriers? The more detailed the image, the more real it becomes in your mind. Visualization not only inspires but also trains your brain to believe that a different reality is possible. Each of these techniques acts as a tool for exploring your inner world. Meditate to listen, journal to understand, and visualize to move forward. The best part? You don't need to be perfect at any of them. Just start. With practice, you'll see those mental limitations begin to lose their grip, making space for a more authentic and empowered version of yourself. Art and writing are more than mere forms of expression. They are gateways to your deepest self. Think about the sense of relief you feel after pouring your thoughts onto paper, or the calm that comes from simply sketching random lines in a notebook. This isn't a coincidence. It's the magic of self-expression. Through art, we find ways to express what words sometimes can't capture. Colors, shapes, and strokes tell stories we didn't even know we wanted to share. You don't need to be a professional artist. The outcome isn't what matters. The process is. When you create, you give yourself permission to explore emotions and thoughts that are often locked inside. Writing has the same power. Each word you write is a piece of your inner world that you choose to release. Whether it's about your feelings, dreams, or fears, writing helps you make sense of chaotic experiences. You don't need to be a poet or novelist. Simply opening a notebook and letting your hand move can unlock parts of yourself you've never encountered. When you express yourself through words or art, you build a bridge between who you are now and who you could become. It's an act of courage because it requires facing yourself without filters and accepting what you find. But it's also liberating because it allows you to let go of burdens and transform them into something beautiful. And self-expression isn't just about healing. It's a path to authenticity. By expressing yourself, You discover what truly matters to you, what moves you, and what defines your essence. This clarity helps you make decisions aligned with your true self. Every time you choose to create, you gift yourself a moment of connection with who you are. It's a reminder that your voice is unique and valuable, even if you're the only one listening. Isn't that what we're all searching for? Ways to be closer to our true selves. What if you could identify the barriers holding you back and simultaneously discover tools to overcome them? It all begins with asking yourself the right questions. Don't underestimate the impact of taking a moment for deep reflection. Simple questions like, what's limiting me? Where did this belief come from? Or, what would I do if I weren't afraid of failing? Can open a window to parts of yourself you never knew existed. But it's not just about reflecting, it's about going deeper. Write down your answers. Don't worry about making them perfect. Just be honest. Sometimes, seeing your thoughts on paper can be revealing. You'll notice patterns, repeated phrases, and recurring beliefs. These are your clues, the limiting beliefs you need to examine. Let's talk about those beliefs. We all have them. They're the ideas we've accepted as truths without questioning. Perhaps it's something you heard as a child. I'm not good with numbers, or good things don't last. But are they really true? Ask yourself, who taught me this? What evidence do I have that it's true? And most importantly, what would happen if I chose not to believe this anymore? By analyzing these beliefs, you begin to weaken their hold over you. And then there's the role of mentors. You don't have to walk this path alone. Sometimes, a conversation with someone who has faced similar challenges can completely shift your perspective. Don't look for perfection. Look for authenticity. Seek someone willing to share their experiences and lessons. It could be a teacher, a friend, or even someone you admire from afar. Ask them how they faced their limitations, what mistakes they made, and what they would do differently. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn. These exercises aren't one-time tasks, they're habits. Every reflection, analysis, and conversation with a mentor brings you closer to the version of yourself that isn't bound by limitations. And the best part? Each step not only frees your mind, but also opens new possibilities. You become someone unafraid to look within because you know that's where everything begins. We've reached the end of this journey, but in reality, it's just the beginning of a new one for you. Now you have the tools to explore those mental limitations you might not have even realized were there. Reflecting, questioning, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift you is an ongoing process. But trust me, every small step is worth it. Here's the challenge I leave for you today. Take a few minutes this week to ask yourself what thought is holding you back and what you could do to challenge it. Over time, you'll see how those blockages turn into lessons, and those lessons into growth. If this content helped or inspired you, don't forget to leave a like so more people can find this message. And if you want to keep diving into topics like this, subscribe. Every week, we explore new ways to grow together and unlock our true potential. See you in the next video. See you soon.